Good morning, everyone. It is 8:30 on Thursday, September 17th, and it's morning briefing time. First of all, no changes to the National Terrorism Advisory System overnight. Snapshot of the region this morning. Updated numbers from the unaccompanied children are on the screen there. No changes to the declaration status, no ongoing damage assessment, and no fire management grant requests have been received. Now, as we switch over to the Geo platform this morning, things are quiet around the region. Mark's going to have a weather update for us in just a few moments. First of all, no changes to the status of our region or National Coordination Center. Both are at level 4 steady state. The National Watch is an enhanced watch at the Coop site for the papal visit to the East Coast, and the Region Watch Center remains at steady state. No changes to the status of our state EOCs. Louisiana continues at Cat 3. No changes to the status of our IMAPs. No shelters to talk about this morning. And around the region, we have a total of just about 1,400 power outages. The most is in Louisiana with 780 and Texas with around 550. Before we turn it over to Mark, Texas Forest Service reports 2 new fires yesterday for a total of 3 acres. No structures or infrastructure were threatened with those. And then out in California, the Valley Fire is just over 70,000 acres and 35% contained. And the Butte Fire, also in California, almost 72,000 acres and 47%. And just before we go to Mark, we did have a 8.3 earthquake off the coast of Chile. A tsunami alert was issued for California, about a 1-foot tsunami, about 5 this morning. That would be about an hour ago, 5 Pacific time. Hawaii, about 1 meter or 3 feet projected right about now. And American Samoa, somewhere between 1 foot and 3 foot, again, just about an hour ago. So no damage reports from that yet. We'll continue to watch that. And now we turn it over to Mark at the Weather Service.
Alrighty, thanks a lot, Paul. Also want to make mention real quick, since you mentioned the fires in California, Kurt Van Slybrooke from our group is actually out there providing weather support for the fire fighting effort out there. So he's been out there for about the last week and working about 16 to 18 hours a day. So I'm sure he's probably ready to come back here. But coming back to Fema 6, very quiet this morning. Really nothing showing up on the radar. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the tropicals weather outlook here. We do have a few systems out there. The one closest to home is a broad area of low pressure out over the eastern Gulf of Mexico. And the Hurricane Center does give that a 30% chance of developing into a tropical depression here in the next 5 days. Upper level winds will take this to the northeast across Florida and then into the western Atlantic. Overall conditions are not that favorable for any really rapid strengthening with this, but it will bring some heavy rain to the East Coast, but have no impacts to Fema 6. And a couple of systems further out into the Atlantic also likely not have any impacts to Fema 6. Tropical Depression 9 will be moving to the northwest and then kind of stalling here by about Monday. And environmental conditions out there in the central Atlantic are very unfavorable for any further type of development, so this will likely just dissipate here in the next few days. And moving on to our threat matrix here for the next 5 days, there will be a front moving into Oklahoma tomorrow, and we do have a slight risk for severe thunderstorms over the northern portions of Oklahoma and a marginal risk over the central and western portions of that state, with the potential for some hail and damaging winds. But as that front continues to push further on to the south over the weekend along the Red River, it's going to lose really a lot showers and isolated thunderstorms expected with that. But it will bring some rainfall into eastern Arkansas, Oklahoma, northwest Texas. Unfortunately, it's not going to move far enough to the south to bring much of the way of rainfall over northeast Texas and northern Louisiana, where the drought continues to expand, and I'll talk about that here in just a moment. And speaking of the drought, the new drought monitor is out today, and so over northern Louisiana, where last week we had about 8% of the state in extreme drought, is now up to about 12.5%, and really not looking for too much in the way of rainfall across northern Louisiana, east and northeast Texas coming up for the upcoming week. So no improvement expected there, unfortunately, as just really drought conditions continue to expand across portions of Texas, southern Arkansas, and a good deal of Louisiana. And as far as space weather is concerned, really no impacts expected there into the weekend. So pending your questions, that will conclude my portion of the briefing.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. If you have any questions, type them in the chat window or on the phone, ask your questions. In the meantime, we take a look at the events going on around the region today and looking into next week. And one more thing for our trivia question for this week on hurricanes. Part of National Preparedness Month. Anybody want to take a shot at that one? For a hurricane to survive, the water temperature must be 80 degrees and the winds must diverge. All right, got one answer in there. Anybody else? Anybody else? Mark. It is a tricky question. And the answer is false. They must converge. The winds must converge. But yes, it has to be warm water over 80 degrees. Very good. Any questions this morning?